and my sissy on a school field trip.
That's good because see, look, we always see this.
Look. Oh, this is beautiful. I'm about to show you. Look at that, y'all.
Water was taken from the river, and when I said it was pumped up to the high point, that's where the art museum is now. It was pumped up there. You've got a question? This water is tidal, so this water does rise up. When it's high tide, it'll be a little higher. But it will go to see the balconies. It'll go up closer to the balconies there. Yeah. So, just a couple things. When it was decided to use water power in order to power the pumps, they had to build the dam. And so the dam was put in to redirect the water behind the building to come through and turn the water wheels and then turbines at a later time.
That's cool.
So when we're inside, we're going to be able to see some of that. But the dam, look at this dam here. Guess what sort of impact it had on the river? Can anybody think about what it made it flow? Well, it sort of slowed it down, right? So slowed it down, and it kind of made this whole lake type of effect going back, and that's why Boathouse Road grew up as a recreation place. So there's all these crew boats and everything. So it slows it up here. Now the water isn't being directed around the building, it's just allowed to go over. But it also impacted wildlife. So fish, anadromous fish, or the fish that need to go upriver to spawn, which means have their babies, couldn't get up the river because the dam's put in there. So it affected fish populations. So if you look over way across there is a whole bunch of cement, and it's a fish ladder, and it's designed to allow fish to be able to get up and over the dam to get up the upriver. So what sort of questions are you looking at investigating about
No,
water?
that's great. So we're definitely there. I want them to know that this is where we get our drinking water from still, right? It's not correct. It's being pumped out somewhere else,
Yes.
farther in or farther out.
So there's two intakes. So I should finish this story. As we were supplying water to Philadelphia, Philadelphia grew and grew. Businesses and industry grew. Everybody's dumping their waste and discharge into the river. It gets polluted, and by 1909, this had to be decommissioned. So the river was too dirty to drink without being treated, and there was no place on this campus to build a treatment plant. So it stopped pumping the water for people at that point. Right now, we have two intakes that are up kind of by East Falls on the Schuylkill. And then you guys know that you also get drinking water from the Delaware. So about 60% of the people in Philadelphia get Delaware and 40% Schuylkill, and some are mixed. And now the water is taken from the river and it goes to a drinking water treatment plant, and then it's processed, and then it's distributed
And
to
we're
people
going to
to
learn
drink.
a little bit about that treatment process
Yes.
today as well, or no?
Not too much, no.
That's
'Cause-
okay.
Yeah, okay. I can send you information though on that.
Actually, I have that. I got half the people that are here are doing a little lesson
Okay.
that
About
that'll
that.
include that in there. Just
Okay.
kind of like the idea of how urban water cycles now need to have, this is an extra element of the wastewater treatment.
Yes.
So they'll get that.
Okay.
But I was just kind of curious.
Yeah. And
No,
we
this is
actually
good.
can't-
We're actually in this unit right now looking at properties of water. So what we're going to do hands-on is going to be beautiful.
Okay, perfect. And the important part too of this story is I know you guys look out there, and how clean does the water look to you right now? It looks dirty.
It looks 0.2% clean.
So that means very dirty, right? Very dirty. Believe it or not, the rivers, both of our big rivers, Schuylkill and Delaware, were the dirtiest around 1972, right before the Clean Water Act was passed. The Clean Water Act decreed and mandated that all surface waters in the United States become fishable and swimmable by a certain time period, like 15, 20 years or whatever. So our rivers right now are a lot cleaner than they were 50 years ago, believe it or not. Still not clean enough to drink right out of it, but definitely clean enough to support wildlife and an aquatic ecosystem. So we're going to go take a look at that now. So come on this way.
So back when they used to directly pump it out and send it into homestead, people didn't have to worry about the bacteria?
So
Or
there-
they just kind of got used to it?
They got used to it, number one. There probably was some bacteria, so there probably was boiling times when maybe they had to boil water, because rivers kind of always are changing depending on what's fluxing, in there. But it was essentially clean enough to drink. Does anyone remember what time period I said the river was the dirtiest in? Well,
1970s.
it was getting very dirty by then, but what was the dirtiest?
1970s.
Yes, so in the 1970s, like mid-century of the 1900s, it was the dirtiest until the Clean Water Act was passed. But what I would like to do is, we've built a boardwalk out here. This is called Silt Island. What happened when the water came down and we built that dam, the water slows up because actually less water went over the dam than what you're seeing now. A lot of water is going over the dam right now. But because the water was diverted behind, there was a lot less water going over. And so that dam functioned to really slow down that water. And what happens when water slows down, sediments fall out and drop to the bottom. And we created an area called the Silt Island. So you can look at how big the trees are on this island. It's been here for a long time, probably 100 years. And again, this complex was built 200 years ago, so you can see it took some time. But now we have a lot of wildlife here. We have an endangered turtle, the eastern red-bellied turtle that lives in this area. We have great blue herons and green herons. We had a beaver move in at one point, but the flood, Isaias in 2020, destroyed the beaver lodge and washed it away. But anyway, I want you to walk out here and let's see if we can see any signs of wildlife on here.
All right, we're looking for wildlife, guys.
Is there certain towns or months of the year that the water rises?
So the water, so the local, it's going to be higher, and then so that's going to change. Up here, it doesn't change that much, but it could change depending on how much rain we're getting. And we're going to talk about some runoff in just a minute. So let's see if you see anything. Okay, I want to focus here. And so that tells us, people who care about the quality of the water must be pretty good because it is supporting this particular animal eating the fish.
Pay me to drink this.
You don't want to drink it, but there are people who do catch fish and then eat the fish. There is a limit on how much you should eat, though.
You should go to the.
It's really considered the main, and it's a non-point source, so it's kind of coming from all different places. It's hard
I wish I could zoom in a little more, but